I appreciate you letting me do it.
Production and poppy production in Afghanistan might be causative, and I'm wondering why we're not talking about that.
Yeah, and I would ask people, you know, if you have asthma, you want to be treated for it, don't you?
Yeah.
If you have, you know, diabetes, you want to be treated for it.
Well, here's a good question. If you have an asthma attack and you're using your albuterol and you're using it a little extra because you can't breathe and you die, is that an albuterol overdose?
They probably would.
They would say so.
I sure hope not, because that's what I use.
Right? I mean, that's a brilliant point. Or what if you're insulin dependent diabetic and you take too much of your insulin, your blood sugar goes down? That's a complication of insulin. Should we take insulin off the market? Well, we practically are, because it's so frigging expensive nowadays. But essentially, what we're saying is, this is leaking out just from the pain patients into the rest of the population. Your doctor doesn't get to decide what's right for you based on a cooperative agreement and a consultation with you as a patient. Someone else is deciding. Who else is deciding? Insurance companies, legislators, regulators, pharmacists are deciding not to fill prescriptions that they feel might be inappropriate. Not with even a phone call. Oh, I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
That is the pharmacist's mantra, right? I'm not comfortable with this medication refill. Well, would you look at my history and see that I've taken this medication for 15 years and still alive? Oh, you're too much risk for an overdose and death. Well, show me the numbers. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that a chronic pain patient is going to divert their pain pills? They're going to have to buy them back at 3 times the price, right? And so you're not going to sell your pills. And if you were to buy your pills on the street these days, what are you going to get? Counterfeit pills. And what do they have in them? Fentanyl. You know, how many stories do you hear repeatedly of some kid who took a pill and died?
I know somebody who took a not opioid related drug and died from fentanyl overdose.
Right. So it was a counterfeit Xanax or something, or a counterfeit something else.
Yep.
And so no worries. We're gonna interview here in a second. Yeah, so you take someone else's pill and you don't know what's in it. That's why we regulate them. That's why we get pills at pharmacies, so that we have a certain amount of trust in the products that are manufactured in our country, that they are what they say they're going to be. And if they're not, all hell breaks loose. Well, all hell is breaking loose because people are buying pills on a black market that is going to supply something to somebody that wants them. It's going to fulfill demand. The demand for those pills has skyrocketed. And who do you want managing your pain? Your doctor? Or Sam down there on the corner? You know? Some guy on a cash basis. Okay?
And no community safe. Doesn't matter how big or how small.
No community is safe.
They need to get out of the doctor's office.
Get the who out of the doctor's office?
Get the government, get the DEA, the CDC, get them out of my doctor's office.
Yeah. What happened with the CDC? I gotta switch hands. Yeah. Did the CDC ever manage pain?
No.
Not until 2016. CDC's job is to manage infectious diseases and keep us safe from Ebola, tuberculosis, meningitis, pneumococcal pneumonia, etc. The FDA has been the one to manage pain. Well, what happened to the pain management in this country?
Treat us all like junkies.
Yeah, well, how did it get started? I mean, this is a great question.
By a few bad apples out there that were being, in my opinion, rewarded to overprescribe, but only in a minute amount of communities, honestly.
Yeah.
If you look at the statistics.
Well, let's talk about welfare. And how many people scam the welfare system?
A lot.
No, it turns out to be 3%.
Really?
3% of people get welfare illegally. Okay, and then we do drug testing on welfare people, and find
$1 million.
yes, and we spent $2 million to save $50,000. And the same thing happens with pain patients. I mean, you can tell who's lying.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the first visit, but you might be able to, do an interview or find out on weird behaviors if somebody's maybe at risk. But what happens is patients get cut off with one strike. It's one strike and you're out. And some of the drug tests that are done are 30% false positives and false negatives. Many of the patients I saw were fired from their doctor under those circumstances. They had a hinky urine, and their doctor says, "We're done with you."
Yep.
After once, and which means that person's in acute withdrawal, and they're coming in my door, sweating, shaking, vomiting, in pain, in withdrawal, just because their doctor got terrified of a hinky urine.
You had a heart.
Well, yeah,
I
but
heard you had I never saw you.
yeah.
But I heard you had a heart.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess I'm old school. I mean, I signed a Hippocratic Oath, and I think that Hippocrates said do no harm.
Yeah.
And the problem with do no harm is it lets everybody off the hook if they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And not doing something is harm in this particular situation, I think. And so.
And they just don't care. That's how I feel. And the doctors have become so cold. Not all of them, but they're so worried about losing, and they've even said it to, like, even my husband, that, you know,
This is so true.
my license, I'm not going to lose my license for you.
Yeah. Well, I can't help you if I'm in prison. I mean, I learned that after 7 years of battling, and I knew that they had their foot on my neck, and if I got up again, they'd be sending more investigators and making up more stories. So you got this idea, this narrative saying that there are all these bad doctors that run pill mills. Well, what do you got as a doctor, as a tool? You got a prescription pad and a knife. There's only two things you got, and a couple of ears to listen. But if you don't listen, you're not going to know whether to use the prescription pad or the knife. But, you know, are you a drug seeker if you come in to see me and you want a particular medication that you've been on? Well, you know, I go to a restaurant, I'm a calorie seeker. You know, I go to a bar, I'm a beer seeker. It's like, of course, you as a human being, you get to go and shop. I go to a gas station, I'm a gas seeker.
But you can't go to a doctor and say, well, hydros worked for me, where this didn't work for me. Red flag.
Red flag.
That's true.
Red flag.
You said the word hydro because you've used it before, and it worked for you because you had a surgery.
Right?
Or whatever
But
reason.
you know what's funny? Is if you don't want it because I'm lightweight and I can't handle it.
Right.
Every doctor.
Well,
You have a
give it-
problem, you have knee surgery, he's like, I'm sending you home with this prescription for
Yeah.
hydrocodone.
Yeah.
I said, I'll be fine, I'll take my Advil.
Right?
So, and he was like, no, I want you to, and I never took it. He asked me, did you? No.
So there's a reason that people don't tolerate these medicines and take and get and have high side effects.
We know our
Those
body.
people are slow metabolizers. If you're a slow metabolizer of opiates, you're going to throw up, you're going to have constipation, you're going to get not much pain relief, and you're going to say, I don't like those. They make me feel worse than having the pain. That's a slow metabolizer.
I'm a
Rapid
fast
metabolizers, completely
Gone,
different.
it's out of your
No
system.
side effects, goes through your system instantly, hardly ever withdraw because the it's out of your system so fast. A pill that's supposed to last 12 hours lasts 7.
That's me.
And so, and everybody says, well, you must be a criminal if you're taking high doses. We don't say that in any other illness. We don't say that in diabetes. You need 70 units of insulin and you need 10, and you must be bad. No insulin for you.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy.
Exactly.
If your blood pressure is high, we're going to give you 4 blood pressure medicines and keep treating your blood pressure because we know if it's out of control, it's going to be harmful to you. You have a stroke, and then I'm in trouble because I missed that or I didn't treat it appropriately.
And it's sad because with the severe pain that I have, my doctor, and I won't say name, he would have upped me,
Yes,
but he said, but I can't.
right.
But I can't.
Because he doesn't want to get in trouble.
Well,
Yes, it's an unwritten
There's
rule,
God
isn't it?
there.
right, yep.
It's a fear. It's false evidence appearing real. Of course, in my case, I can't say that anymore because I think there is evidence that your doctor will be locked up or go away.
You're right.
And not only that, and you've got a doctor who's treating your pain, and that is so great. But you are one car crash away from losing that.
You
And-
know
and-
it,
and-
and I fear it every day.
And, you know, he goes away or something happens,
Uh-huh.
and does his partner treat your pain? No way.
Could be
It
different.
doesn't matter if he trusted you. A trust thing between a patient and a doctor is a thing that evolves over time. And
Yep.
and so your next doctor won't treat that.
I know, and that's what scares me.
Yeah, yeah.
Scares the hell out of me.
So how do you manage that? What's your plan? This is sort of like making, buying life insurance. You know, what's your plan for losing access? I mean, most people are struggling; they've already lost their access. But it seems to me, if you're operating in this system of scarcity, you're going to hoard. Okay, you're going to put stuff away. You're going to have a week's supply, a 2-week supply, that sort of thing. And people are saying, well, that's you're not taking your medicines as prescribed. Well, they are as needed. And if you don't need them, you can park them and keep them under lock and key and use something else for your pain.
A week still isn't nothing.
Right?
A week
Right.
is
Yeah,
nothing.
a week is nothing.
Just gives you another week of what? To worry about it again?
Yeah.
And again
Yeah.
and again and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. That's why pain's an effing terrorist. Because did you notice ever, you see movies or even interviews on the radio, people are being terrorized, you're chained to a wall, and they're torturing you, right? So they go take a cigarette break. Is your terror over? Hell no, you know they're coming back.
No, they're coming back.
And so the terror is this anticipation, this concern that I'm going to be treated terribly at one point because everyone else has been, even if you're lucky enough to be treated appropriately.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, this has been good, but I'm freezing
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
leg. Yeah, my freezing and leg. I'm
yeah.
gonna try to make it back to my car.
Do you want, here, do you want to make things?
No, I'll make it.
Are you
Slowly, but I'll make it.
Just take your time.
Good luck, you guys.
How about an arm?
Wish
We'll
we
walk
had
with
more
you.
People.
Yeah.
We will
Well,
next time.
it's friggin' cold out here.
Do it. It's warmer.
And the cold is good for our inflammation. It makes it settle down a little bit.
Yes,
Okay, I'll tell you about it later.
Thank you for laughing. If you can't
have
laugh,
to.
that's it.
And I have a husband that helps me laugh, and that's what my key is helps me a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Well,
Take
love.
your car and
Love's
turn
the key
that
thing.
heat up.
I am.
Do you have gloves?
Later.
I do the car.
Okay.
I'll be up. I'm just down here, not too far away.
Bye, Cheryl.
Give me a
Well,
call.
no,
I
I'm
will.
walking with you. All right. We're gonna get a view of the Capitol here as we're walking.
That guy goes slow.
Yeah.
Been working on it a month, and it's still there.
Yeah.
But I don't dare even go to the doctor for this pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to a physical therapist, and
Uh-huh.
which is fine. I don't care, but you know, it's so bad that I mean, I can't sleep or nothing. We're just trying to get it worked out. But no, I know. I watched you go through all your shit.
Pain is a teacher, isn't it?
Oh boy, it humbles you. That's for sure.
Whoa, there's the sun.
That helps a little bit. Are they going to try to do another rally here, or God?
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard because it's such a bad time of year.
Well, here's what I'm noticing in the media. We are shifting things. We have articles coming out. 3 years ago, I couldn't find an article. They wouldn't even publish mine. Watch out for this icy patch. Nowadays, I get so many articles in my inbox that I can't keep up with them.
Really?
So it is changing. It is shifting. And it always does, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm so glad because I joined those groups,
Yeah.
and then I heard that you were on it too, helping. So I thought that was cool too. Like I said, I've never seen you, but I've seen people. I know people that have. I always felt bad for what they did to you.
Well, I think what happens with pain patients is just like yourself. We're too sick to go race for the cure, right?
Yeah.
It would be limp for the cure.
Limp for the cure. Yep.
It's like, okay, you know, and look what it took for Race to the Cure to become big. I mean,
know,
15 years ago there was 5 people in Race for the Cure.
That's true.
And now there's
Good point.
you know, there's 100,000 people that show up.
Yep.
So we have to just persist in making sure that this conversation happens
Keeps going.
in our entire culture.
Yeah.
And that we treat people with respect and with understanding. Are we crossing the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have to. I'm just.
Yeah, I'm going right with you.
Thank you.
You are on YouTube Live, girl, and the whole nation is watching you cross the street.
Oh.
Okay. Where's on the car? One more car coming.
Yeah, I try to watch all those other rallies people have across the country too. So it's good to see that. We have to get to stick together, and like I said, I'm kind of one of the lucky ones, but I'm a supporter all the way.
Yes, thank you.
Because like you said, I think you hit it. I have a fear every day, you know, that I'm going to lose what I have to live my life the way I can live it right now.
And you know, those of us who aren't in pain, we don't remember.
Nope.
Women forget their pain. If they didn't, we wouldn't have more than one baby.
That's right. Absolutely.
And so,
There's no
and
doubt
so
about
even those of
that.
us who've had pain tend to forget it.
Yep.
But then when it's agonizing, it gets your attention.
Yeah.
First time I had a kidney stone, it was 30 milligrams of morphine later till I got until I got even settled in.
Wow.
And
Oh.
nothing teaches you as a physician better about pain than having some agonizing pain.
Yeah.
Transformed my care of kidney stone patients.
Great teacher. Right here in this truck right here.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. God bless
And
you.
we'll just keep.
And God bless your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good, but his hands are tied too.
They are. They are.
You know.
Doses he prescribes are a third of what he used to prescribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, he knows I need more, but he's afraid to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you.
You too.
Drive safe, okay?
And we'll keep doing this.
All right. Thank you. Okay, you guys. Let's get back to the rally. Our rally just dropped by 20%. But that was a good conversation, was it not? We've got to treat pain. We've got to treat patients. Doctors do two things. We save lives and relieve suffering. There's only two things we do. Oh, maybe you could add that we do health maintenance to make sure you live longer. Reminds me of a joke. Guy goes to his doctor. He's had a full exam and labs and all that. Meets with his doctor in the office afterwards. And the doctor says, well, you got to quit smoking, you got to quit drinking. Can't have sex more than a month. Get rid of the sports car. And the guy says, Doc, if I do all that, will I live longer? And the doctor says, I don't know. It'll sure seem that way. And I can tell you what, our pain patients, their lives seem like they're endless. When you're in agony, people don't want to kill themselves. They just want to relieve their pain. 6 of my patients are dead. 3 of them by gunshot wound. What a horrible thing. Horrible thing to happen. And God bless them. I know each one of those patients did what they could to make a declaration and make sure that people understood that the thing that they were having was unbearable. It looks like a garage sale here. I would love a pair of size 10 pumps.
Thank you for
all right, you guys.
here and have a man bun.
Yes. Well,
Or a ponytail.
yeah, done that. Been there. Okay. All right, I think we can wrap this up.
Okay, cool.
We lost our camera person. I guess she wasn't.
He took a picture of all the shoes and it'll be on
Okay.
YouTube tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
Something.
BDS.
Yeah.
Yes,
Excellent.
It was cold. We didn't have many people, but you know what? We are going to give pain a voice,
Yes.
and something's going to change.
Yes.
Something has to
I
change.
can see his statue here, General Maurer. He died in the Missouri River 170 years ago. But his statue's still there to tell us what a hero he was.
Well,
And some people thought he was a criminal. So, you know, we'll sort that out, right? Time will tell. And the thing that I really want my medical colleagues to know is time indeed will tell. And you know how this turns out. We know that the patients that are in chronic pain will be vindicated at some point. They'll be dead and vindicated. And now my commitment is that they're not dead and that we vindicate them now, because that's what's going to happen.
And then they have more life than being able to do one little thing and then have to go to bed for 2 hours because they're in such pain and they're heating their rice bags and they're doing what they can to alleviate that pain. They have no quality of life. They're watching everything around them just fall apart.
Fall apart, yeah.
I mean, I watched her. She was the biggest go-getter. She drove me crazy.
Yeah.
House was perfect. Yard was perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's like some days she can barely get one load of laundry folded and put away
Yeah.
without going and hitting her recliner, rolling on the tennis ball, getting her TENS unit out. It's just not fair.
It's not right.
It's just not fair.
It's not right. Yeah. We are one car wreck and one rigid pharmacist away from refugee status, essentially. You know, I spent the last couple of years doing overseas work, treating refugees, and this is exactly the same, only it's worse. Well, I don't know if it's worse. Refugees are really in a bad way, you know. But what's really bad about this kind of refugee status is it's invisible. It's not clear. Yeah, your stick is twisted. You're standing goofy, but it's not like anyone can tell that you're in agony. And then, of course, if you demonstrate agony, they're going to ridicule you for being overly dramatic.
Right.
So it's like you can't win in this conversation. We just have to persist. It's how long has it taken for civil rights to improve? Is it handled? No. How long for?
We were doing pretty good with civil rights.
For a while.
About, 9 years ago.
Yeah. And how about the rights of other marginalized populations? Pain patients are being marginalized, and a lot of us have never been marginalized in our lives, and it teaches a whole big lesson. You know, when my medical community shunned me, it hurt, and I've always been, you know, performance-wise at the top.
And it still hurts.
It still hurts, very much.
Hurts that I can't afford medical insurance after working my whole life.
Right.
As a nice, what used to be the middle class, which almost doesn't exist in this country.
Yeah, what middle
anymore.
class? Middle between what and what?
There are illegal aliens that get better medical care than I can afford for myself. That irritates me.
Right.
That irritates me.
And who's making money off of them? Right? You know, there's a big camp down there with a bunch of people. Somebody's being paid to keep that
absolutely.
whole thing going. And now, I saw yesterday they're planning afoot to make it a felony for animal cruelty. And I'm kind of in favor of that. Until I thought about it, I go, well, who's going to benefit from that? Are the animals going to benefit?
No.
Who's going to benefit? The prisons are going to benefit from calling animal cruelty people felons. And how often does animal cruelty happen? I mean, it's dramatic, but
it happens quite a lot.
Right?
It happens all the time, and for the most part, nothing is ever done about it. And even if people are arrested, there's almost no consequences whatsoever.
Right. Should we send them to jail?
No, actually, I think we should burn them at the stake.
Right.
And they shouldn't be fixed, so they shouldn't be allowed to have children. Because if you can't handle the responsibility of a dog or a horse, you have no business having children.
Right.
That's my pet peeve.
Good way to put it, pet peeve. So, but one way to look at this is for them to say to us, if you can't handle your pain, we're not going to give you the pain pills. If you're talking about suicide all the time, now you can't get your pain pills because they're afraid you're going to overdose on them.
That's true.
And it's like
you got to really be careful.
These conversations have got to be done, consciously, because we're in this situation of deep vulnerability. When you're vulnerable, you want to shout and get people's attention. The more you shout, the nuttier you look, the less likely they're going to treat your pain.
The very same government that does not regulate our borders, and wants hundreds of people coming across daily with backpacks, with weapons, with drugs. There's no consequences. We don't want to close that border.
Right.
Okay? Who's making money on the illegal drug trade?
Right.
I have a funny feeling our government is
there's some
billions from that and arms dealing. Think about that.
There might be some three-letter agencies that might be profiting from that. But we're here to give pain a voice. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank you,
I think we're
Dr.
going to adjourn.
Thank you
I move we adjourn. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
All in favor.
Aye!